The Indianapolis Colts were coming off of a tough game in which they had their worst performance of the year against the Steelers with six turnovers, 5 of them coming from the offense and Daniel Jones. This week they were looking to bounce back in Germany against the Falcons, and they get a big win in overtime, 31-25. Now, everything was not perfect, and I actually think the Colts' questions continue to get bigger and bigger with the 2 first trader for Sauce Gardner and how Daniel Jones is playing. However, one thing is clear. Johnathan Taylor is right now the best running back in the NFL, and at this moment, he should be your MVP. What is up, Colts fans and NFL fans at large? Thank you guys for finding the Lumia Sports Podcast and our channel. Please check out our other videos on the page. We do videos on every single team every week. We also have lives where we go over the previews. You see me and Tony the Tiger going over every preview throughout the year. But the thing I'm most excited about, again, like we talked about, every team, we have them categorized down here on the list with each individual team. And let's see what we've said about the Colts and Danny Dimes up to this point. Last week we said that they would bounce back, or this weekend that they would bounce back and smack the Falcons. They did. We questioned about the Daniel Jones implosion being one game or a bigger issue. I still think we have questions and maybe some unfortunate answers. And we also said that you should take the Colts for real. So please check these out and some other videos. Now, back to the episode. Now, when you look at the Colts throughout this season, they still sit the number 1 seed in the AFC. I mean, they've just had really a great season up to this point. Starting off on fire, and again, the ability to get that win is huge. When you look at them specifically with the Jags losing again, the Jags now at 5-4. They continue to kind of get more space and run away with that division. The conference is going to be tough, but they did beat the Broncos, so they have that tiebreaker over them. Them and the Patriots didn't play, but right now it says they have the tiebreaker, I'm assuming, because maybe conference record, and they do have a better record in the conference. And again, like we just talked about, division-wise, I mean, the Colts off to really just distancing themselves, 8-2, whereas the Jags now are 5-4, and the Jags just lost a divisional round game. Colts and Jags haven't played yet, but it'd be tough to say the Jags can sweep anyone right now. And the Colts did beat, who did they beat? Maybe they did beat because the Jags, they beat the Titans. I know that. Did they play the Titans twice? No, because they might have beaten the Titans twice. Wow, that's crazy. I know the Texans did. We're going to have to find out in 1 second. But either way in the division, I still think over the Jags and Texans, even if they haven't played either one of those teams once, that they split those games and the division is well within control. And let's see how the Colts are here right now. Start off on fire, smoking the Dolphins 33-8, beating Denver, clutching that one up 29-28, smoking the Titans, and they have played the Titans twice, beating them twice. Now, they did lose a tough game to the Rams, but right now the Rams have been beating people down. You got to say the Rams are one of the best teams in the NFL. Again, beat down the Raiders, beat the Cardinals. That was a tough game, but they beat the Chargers handily, and I actually forgot about that. So they have that tiebreaker. Even if the Broncos were to fall back and the Chargers were to overtake that division, they would still get that tiebreaker with seeding, and that's important for home field. Tough loss to the Steelers, but luckily the Steelers keep losing, so really not going to have to worry about them for that home field or for that seeding matchup. And again, that win against the Falcons. And I think when you look at the rest of their schedule, it's a bunch of division games, but right now the Jags and Texans don't look good. And then there are some tough matchups starting after their bye week. So you come back from London, you get a bye week after that. So a big win heading into the bye. But after that, Kansas City Chiefs, that is a humongous game, not just for the Colts and their seeding, but right now the Chiefs are currently, I believe, they're currently out of the playoffs as the 8th seed. Now, obviously, I think they're going to be in. But just to see, like, if you're how really are, how you match up with that Chiefs team, and if you can, what you want is you kind of want to get them out of the playoffs if you're the Colts. And you'd rather obviously see the Jags up in there. But again, week 15, you get Seattle as well. That's a big game. The 49ers have been struggling recently, but I think that's a litmus test as well. Monday Night Football, so definitely interested to see what happens with this team going forward down the stretch. Because after the bye, I think we're going to learn even more about this Colts unit. Now for our new segment, one of my favorite segments, Comment of the Week. We scour our comments and we find the best one from each week. This one from King Nan. Great technical analysis. Fire channel. Appreciate you, King Nan. Thank you for shouting us out, and we will shout you out. I try my best to be honest, truthful, and really kind of break down the games from each team's perspective in a way that I don't think other channels do. So I appreciate you enjoying the channel. And Colts fans, man, you guys have been loud. We get a lot of comments from the Colts, so keep it going. And if you have the best comment, we will shout you out in Comment of the Week. But Johnathan Taylor, man, I mean, that was actually insane what he did last game to the Falcons. And the reason is, now, albeit it's part of that technical analysis, the Falcons defense comes in 23rd in the league in rush defense. Not very good in that aspect. Very good at pass defense, and we'll get to that. But run defense, they struggle. However, that was insane. I mean, Johnathan Taylor got our morning start off right Sunday because he was incredible. And it was crazy because the first half, you wonder, knowing what I know, the Falcons have the #1 pass defense and a very bad run defense. You wonder if they were going to come out, try to run the ball. They took the ball first, tried to kind of pass, and they were throwing it. But after, and we'll talk more on this guy for sure. I'm trying to hold it in, Colts fans. I'm trying to stay positive. But after a turnover from Danny Dimes, they went straight Johnathan Taylor offense, and he started to completely take control of the game. It was Johnathan Taylor get us down the field, and they struggled in the red zone at times. But he just continued to pound the rock, get down there. And then because they were down 17-13, and they were down the red zone a couple times. One time, turnover on downs. The other time, though, they kick a field goal when they couldn't convert. And then Johnathan Taylor, again, still 17-16 on the 20-yard line, his own 20, and he takes it, a run. He kind of stops in the middle of the line, and then he just, everything on the left side opened up. He took off in an unbelievable balance, patience, and then obviously that Johnathan Taylor explosiveness. I mean, he has been unbelievable all year. It's funny, talking to Mia, my girlfriend, love of my life. She essentially we played fantasy football together, and she was like, I'm waiting for Johnathan Taylor to get my guaranteed 30 points. I'm like, guaranteed 30? That's a lot of fantasy points for those who don't know. Ended up getting 50 in this game. Fantasy points, real life points, 32 carries, 244 yards, 3 touchdowns. And in the fourth quarter and overtime, just continued to be effective. I mean, him and this offensive line are grooving, and once they started handing the game basically over to Johnathan Taylor, you saw the difference in this Colts offense, and to me, that's why he's MVP. And there's another component, and I've been trying to be nice, but it's part and parcel of that. And what we saw from Saquon last year, when a lot of people, myself included, kind of thought, I mean, if you're going to break off one 60-yard run every game and be an automatic touchdown, you should kind of be in the MVP race. But one of the arguments against him, even though they like to use this argument against both of them, to me, is that, I mean, he does have Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, great offensive line, great structure, team that's gone to the Super Bowl before. So maybe you could kind of make it, I guess, seem like it's a little less impressive. He did end up with 2,000 yards and didn't play last game, so the 2,000 was in 16 games. However, a couple things with Johnathan Taylor that are a little different. Let's talk about his numbers first. He is still first in yards, carries, touchdowns. He has 15 touchdowns. I think Saquon had 12 all last year. 15 touchdowns in how many games were they in? 10 games is ridiculous. So that's about 1.5, not about, that's 1.5 a game. You expand that out to the whole season. He's on pace for like 25 touchdowns. Yardage-wise, on pace for like 1,800 yards. He has 1,800 yards, 25 touchdowns. I mean, my goodness. what do you want us to do? He's definitely in the race. Probably still won't win it. Probably go to a quarterback right now looking like Matthew Stafford. But still, I mean, he's unbelievable. And the other reason he's your MVP, the only time we've seen a running back win MVP was Adrian Peterson when his quarterback was, oh my gosh, Christian Ponder. I had to remember him. Like, that dude had a wife. Christian Ponder was the quarterback, and he had 2,000 yards, carried that team in the playoffs, including the last game of the season. Johnathan Taylor put the team on my back. Now, Daniel Jones is better than Christian Ponder, but I don't think he's as good as Hurts last season. And the reason is because, dude, he was, and this game again, number one pass defense. They were screaming. They were sending pressure. He got sacked 7 times in this game, but he couldn't read a blitz at all, and he fumbled it 3 times in this game. So if you can get pressure on Daniel Jones, which now we've seen the last 2 teams have been able to do it with some blitzes, some disguised coverages, you confuse him a little bit, you get there, the ball just slips out of his hands. Now, did they happen to recover 2 of them? Luckily, he recovered 1. And the other one, I think, went out of bounds. So, like, yeah, that's great. But that's a problem. And you even saw the first drive, as great as Johnathan Taylor is, Johnathan Taylor fumbled the ball, and Tanner Bortolini went down there and recovered it. The center, it just so happens because I'm telling you guys, once the quarterback starts turning the ball over, it seeps to the rest of the team. That's your captain. That's your leader. That's supposed to be your most responsible person. And Daniel Jones. So the pick before half, I don't mind, right? A lot of discussion on this. I didn't mind anything the Colts did right before half. For those who weren't watching or don't remember, essentially they were down by 4 heading in, right, to that near half situation. I forget the score exactly. I think it was 10-7, maybe. Maybe it was 17-13 already at that point. Let me look it up just so I'm 100% sure. But I do know, I think it was 14-13. That's right. It was 14-13. It's all coming back to me. 14-13, and essentially, you know what I mean? You're playing the number one pass defense. You're getting screamed at, and they had a 2nd and 1, 3 timeouts, 1 minute left. They get sacked. A blitz he just didn't see coming. And Steichen doesn't call timeout on 3rd and 11. He lets the clock just run all the way down. He wanted complete control. The Falcons don't call a timeout either. Next play, Danny Dimes throws a pick. Now, it was no huddle, rush situation. He was trying to make a play. I had a conversation with people in my group chat about this. They were saying you call a timeout, you give him a minute, and you let him try to kind of create a play. I don't think that was happening. I think that the Falcons defense was all over him after those first couple passes. Now, he threw a great pass. I mean, Alec Pierce was cooking. Once they made the Alec Pierce adjustment, though, none of these other guys could really get open. At least Danny couldn't find him, and he was getting screamed at. But Pierce had a beautiful 37-yard touchdown, triple covered basically. Well, double coverage really. And he threw a nice pass. The safety had to run back because the safety was called out of position. And Pierce just jumped up, made a play. I mean, Alec Pierce has been amazing. 84-yard touchdown for him. But after that, like the offense passing-wise just really struggled once they made that adjustment to him. And you saw throughout the game, that pick, I was saying right before half, like imagine, okay, sure, maybe it happened because he was going fast. Now imagine you throw that pick with a minute left and the Falcons 2 timeouts. They could have gone down, put some points on the board. You just wanted to leave that half 14-13, come out running the football. They came out still passing, though, and they get down the field 17-13. Now, keep in mind at this point, they had already gone for a 4th down, didn't get it. They tried a 53-yard kick, didn't get that either. Kicked that one short. Now they're around the 30, 3rd and 11. They were just trying to really throw a screen. And the Falcons just all out blitzed the screen. Bates, Jesse Bates, star safety, fake blitzed it, went back to Taylor. All that's fine. It's a screen. You know you're getting pressured on a screen. So Danny starts pump faking, hesitating. You gotta just throw the ball on the ground. Instead, he gets hit from behind, fumbles the ball. They lose it. No points on that drive, and you're just like, bro, what is going on? What are you doing? Is this really going to be – because they were still losing at this point. Like, is this going to be who you are? Now, what I will say, down the stretch, because 17-16 didn't look much better. He kind of got down the field. I remember there was one play, I think a 3rd and 1, where he had Pittman wide open on RPO, didn't throw it. He just looked skittish. When you get hit 7 times, when you get sacked 7 times, it happens, but not what you want to see. Like, you want your quarterback to process the information a little quicker, get it out of there. Now, for Jones, he ended up with 300 total yards. He started running effectively, 53 running yards. And maybe I think that's a part of it. He was really looking to kind of run out there, scramble, because maybe that much wasn't open. Downs and Pittman were probably bagged. Falcons defense, again, is really, really good. But late in the clutch, we got to give them credit. They had a huge kick return, albeit a huge kick return. The kick return game was huge for them. They had they had some holdings, which led them to inside the 15. But once they stopped holding, they had big kick returns, 3 of them, punt return to get to the 50, and big kick returns. So they start off after the Falcons score a touchdown, 25-22, on the 50-yard line, and still stagnant because they couldn't run the ball with the time running out. 4th and 2. Huge pass to Tyler Warren, and just an absolutely great catch by Warren, because if it's caught in that situation, how it was thrown, he would have been tackled short of the first down. But for him to make that play, bounce off and get a first down, Warren was unbelievable in this game. 8 catches, 99 yards for him, and that catch was huge. He's clearly their best receiver, and he went out and made a play. Daniel Jones, his face started getting bloody. His mouth, he was getting, sorry, Mom, fucked up out there. And so for them to get that field goal to send it to overtime was great. And then he was happy and chilling because the defense